Bugungi darsimizda Cambridge 9 Test 2 Passage to Analysis-ni ko'rib chiqamiz va birinchi navbatda bizdan nima mavzuda research qilinishi kutilayotganligini bilish maqsadida titleni qo'yishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Title power. Demak, bu qismda aytganligi qanaqadir geografik явлениyaga bog'liq bo'ladi. Bundan keyin esa savol turlarini ko'rib chiqishimiz kerak. Which paragraph contains the following information? Ya'ni quyidagi informatsiyalar qaysi paragrafda ekanligini topish kerak va nota bene you may use another more than once. Demak, bitta harfni ikki marta ishlash imkoniyatiga egamiz. Bundan keyin esa choose 5 letters. Which 5 of the following claims about tidal power are made by the writer? Demak, ustunda bu ham tekst bo'yicha yoyib ketgan bo'ladi va 5 tasini tanlab olishimiz kerak bo'ladi. Undan tashqari esa an undersea turbine demak ustunda illustration compilation bir narsa bo'ladi, filling illustration no more than 2 words. Buni topish oson bo'ladi. Lekin men bu ikkalasiga savollar tartibda kelmaydi. Shuning uchun ham birinchidan paragraflarni o'qigan holda paragraflarni demak 6 paragrafimiz bor ekan, ikkiga bo'lib olamiz. ABC DEFlarni o'qib javoblarni topishga harakat qilamiz. Keyin endi birgalikda qilib ko'ramiz. Operating on the same principle as wind turbines, the power in sea turbines comes from tidal currents, which turn blades similar to ships' propellers, but unlike wind, tidals are predictable and power input is constant. Technology raised the prospect of Britain becoming self-sufficient in renewable energy and drastically reduced its carbon dioxide emissions. If tide, wind, and wave power are all developed, Britain would be able to close gas, coal, nuclear power plants, and export renewable power to other parts of Europe. Unlike wind power, which Britain originally developed as an abandoned 20 years ago, to make it a major industry, undersea turbines could become a big export earner to island nations such as Japan and New Zealand. Tidal sites, tidal power tidal sites have already been identified that will produce 1/6 or more of the UK power. Okay. And its price is competitive with modern gas turbines and undercutting those of the already ailing nuclear industry. One site alone could produce 10% of the country's electricity with banks of turbines under the sea. Another 3 times at the nuclear plant. Other sites identified include other sites. Work on designs for the new turbine blades and sites are well advanced at the university. The first station is expected to be installed to test technology and venture jointly funded by the Department of Defense. In charge of this, the prospect of energy from tidal currents are far better than from wind because the flow of water are predictable and constant. Technology for dealing with the hostile saline environment under the sea has been developed, and much is already known about turbine blade design. Because of wind power and ship propellers, there are few technical difficulties. I believe in the next 5 to 10 years we will install commercial marine turbine farms. Awarded over 3 years to develop the turbine and is working with subsidiary of has now identified potential sites for tidal power around the coasts of Britain. The best sites are between islands around heavy identified coast, but there are strong tidal currents. Demoqsimda tushunarli birinchi informatsiya tidal power haqida, B tidal site haqida, C texnologiya haqida demak topamiz. Location of the first test site. Demak shunda location to first test site. Demak rangni o'zgartiramiz, yozib qiynalamiz. Location of the first test site. Hope is the first station shortly to test the technology. C bo'ladi demak. Belgilab qo'ydim chunki qaysi qismda javobni topganimni. Keyingiga o'tamiz. Come on. Bo'lmasa ekan-ku. Keyingiga berib olish kerak ekan. Fine. A way of bringing power produced on site back to Britain haqida o'qimadik. A reference to previous attempt to Britain to find an alternative source of energy. Previous attempt to abandon it. Original developed. Ayda bo'ladi. Belgilab oldim. Nimagaligini. Bir tushmaydi ham. Mention of the possibility of coming from another industry. Boshqa industriyadan texnologiyani apply qilish haqida ma'lumotlarni o'qimadik. Demak, bizda 15 bilan 17 javoblari yo'q hozircha. Xo'p. 5 following claims about more reliable. To'g'ri. Replace all other forms of energy haqida ma'lumot yo'q. would replace emas 160. Introduction has come as a result of public pressure. No. Cut down air pollution. Yes. Mana carbon dioxide emissions bor. Reliable ni qayoqdan oldik? Reliable ikkita joyda bor edi. Predictable bor so'z. Unlike mana unlike went. Mana bu odam ham shunaqa deganda. Reliable sustainable deganda mana dedi. Predictable and constant mana. Xo'p, keyingi o'tamiz. Could contribute to closure of many existing power stations? Yes. Menimcha, chunki mana bu qismda yozilgan nuclear plant, this. Qisqasi ma'lumotlar berilgan. Could be means to increasing national income? Yes, chunki export qilsa bo'ladi. A lot of resistance, other fuel industries, no information. More cheaply than any other type of fuel haqida ma'lumot berilmagan, chunki price competitive with degan, cheaper demagan. It could compensate for the shortage of inland sites haqida ma'lumot yo'q. Produce in the vicinity of coastline with particular features. Bu katta ehtimol bilan shu javob bo'lsa kerak menimcha. Katta ehtimol bilan shunaqa javob bo'ladi. Ko'ramiz, agar topamiz belgilaymiz. Mana shuni hali topolmaganmiz, lekin belgilab qo'yganmiz. 5 ta javobni topdik. Keyingisi. Undersea turbine. Whole tower can be raised for an extraction of seaweed from blades. Hop. Mana bu yozilgan. A marine turbine blade needs to be only 1/3 of the size of wind generator to produce 3 times as much power. Blades will be about 20 meters in diameter, so around 3 meters of water is required. Unlike wind power, there are unlikely to be environmental objections. Fish and other creatures are thought unlikely to be at risk from relatively slow turning blades. Each turbine will be mounted on a tower, which will connect to the national power supply grid via underwater cable. The tower will stick out of the water and will be lit to warn shipping, and also be designed to be lifted out of the water for maintenance to clean seaweed from the blades. The tower can be raised lifted out for maintenance, to lift it out of the water for maintenance and clean seaweed, seaweed from the blades. Extraction is boshqa rang topib olishim kerak nimanda. Extraction clean synonym, seaweed turibdi, lifted out raise synonym, shuning uchun ham maintenance bo'ladi javob. Maintenance bo'ladi javob. Keyingi qismga o'tamiz. Necha minut bo'ldi o'zi? 7 minut bo'ldi. Hop, 24. Sea life not danger due to the fact that blades are comparatively slow turning. Relatively mana qismda yozilgan. Relatively slow turning bo'lgan edi. Slow turning. Slow turning. Keyingisiga o'tamiz. Air bubbles result from the behind blades. This is known as haqida ma'lumot o'qimadik hozircha. Xo'p, demak bu qismda ikkita savolimiz qolib ketdi. Mana bu qismda ikkita savolimiz qolib ketdi. Ikkita qismda javob topsak kerak. As done most of the work where there are powerful currents, a single undersea turbine from one would produce far more power than the need for the Channel Islands. Most would be fed into the French grid, be imported into Britain via the cable under the channel. Way of bringing power produced back on site in Britain. Bu demak ega o'xshadi. Chunki yozilgan, o'z ko'rganingizdek, orqaga qaytarib olib kelish, bring back bir narsalar yozilganda. Hozir ko'rsataman. Xo'p, mana import, fed into, shunaqa ma'lumotlar bor. Way of bringing back. Xo'p, possibility for another. One difficulty is cavitation, where low pressure behind the turning blade causes air bubbles, cause vibration, damage the blades of the turbines. We have to test number of blade types to avoid this happening. At least make sure it doesn't damage the turbines or reduce performance. Analyze light consider submerged debris floating into the blades. So far we don't know how much the problem it might be. We'll have to make turbines robust because it is a hostile environment, but the signs we can do it are good. Technology from another industry ni ko'rganda mana wind power ship propellers, mana ship propellers, mana shu qismda bor. Mana shu javoblar, mana shu ikkita qism line bu javob bo'ladi. Bu demak javobimiz C bo'lar ekan. Как раз bitta narsani ikkiga tashlashimiz kerak edi. Bitta qismni bitta so'zni yuma yo'zni anglatib mo'rzamoz qilishimiz kerak. Masalan, ikkita ishlatik sheyni bo'ldi. Bu qism tugadi, bu qism ham tugadi, bu qism ham tugadi hozir. Result from the what? Result from pressure, low pressure. Where low pressure behind turning cause air bubbles. Low pressure. Low pressure bo'ldi. Keyingisiga this known as what? Cavitation. O'qidimda shuni. This cause vibration. Yeah, one technique is cavitation. Cavitation bo'lar javob. Eslayman-da, cavitation o'qiganimni. Shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi. Hammaga tushunarli bo'ldigan umiddaman. Qanaqa analiz qilinganligi, agar savollaringiz bo'ladigan bo'lsa, kommentarda qoldirishingiz mumkin. Shu bilan bugungi darsimiz o'z nihoyasiga yetadi.